Ja Morant is expected to go number 2 in the upcoming NBA draft, but with the recent news that he's going to undergo a procedure to remove a loose body from the knee, there's of course been talk about the health of his knee and what this might mean for his playing career. Welcome back, everybody. Today's video is going to focus on this idea of what a loose body in the knee means, what that is, where it comes from, what can cause it, and then any sort of implication on his playing health or career going forward. As always, if you guys like this type of content and want to stay up to date with future injuries, future topics, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Now, loose body is exactly what it sounds like. It's a body of tissue or a body of some material inside the knee that's loose. Our knee joint is a contained space, and so if you have a piece of something that's floating around inside the knee, depending on how big it is and where it is, it can cause a lot of problems and a lot of symptoms. These loose bodies can be made up of different tissues and different structures, and as a result can have different causes for why they got there and what happened. In general though, let's start off by breaking down a stable versus an unstable loose body. A stable loose body is something that we just incidentally see on some sort of imaging and really doesn't cause any problems. It stays in the same spot, it doesn't move around, and it doesn't get in the way of pinching on structures in the knee. Oftentimes we can just watch these, leave them alone, and not worry about it unless they cause other problems. But in the case of an unstable loose body, this is exactly that. It's not in the same spot. It's moving around, it's getting caught, it's getting stuck in different areas, causing impingement between the two structures in the knee, and it can cause a lot of symptoms like locking, catching, pain, and certainly affect the basketball abilities of someone like Ja Morant. When it gets to this unstable point is where the doctors have to decide what to do about it to ultimately relieve these symptoms and let the player get healthy. What I mainly want you to pick up from this video though is that a loose body has some sort of cause. It's not something that's expected to normally be there. The doctors have to take a look at what could have been going on or what might have happened to cause this loose body to get there. There's some clues that we can learn based on what the loose body is made up of in terms of cartilage or bone to get a sense of what might have happened. The first type of loose body is an osteocartilaginous loose body. Osteo means bone and cartilaginous meaning cartilage, and so these are composed of both bone and cartilage. The joints in our knee are bone that's lined by hyaline cartilage, and so if a piece of this combined cartilage and bone breaks off, that can cause a loose body. The most common cause of these types of loose bodies is actually a condition called osteochondritis dissecans. This is a condition where, for reasons that aren't entirely clear, you get death or damage of the bone below the cartilage. Because that bone is keeping the cartilage on top of it healthy, this then causes damage in the cartilage, and that whole piece or that whole structure can break away and end up just floating around inside the knee. We know that osteochondritis dissecans is more common in younger adolescents and it's more common in males. Some thought behind the mechanism is impaired blood flow to that area of the bone, things like microtrauma or repetitive injury to that surface of the bone, and some belief that different anatomical alignment and biomechanics can cause different stresses in the bone that lead to this type of condition. There's a lot of other things that have to be considered in treatment of someone with osteochondritis dissecans, but it is one of the most common causes of loose bodies in the joint. The second type is just purely cartilaginous loose bodies. These don't have any bone in them. It's just simply a piece of that cartilage that's broken away from the surface of the joint. Usually these are traumatic in nature where some sort of injury or trauma to the knee causes a stress and causes a piece of that cartilage lining to essentially pop off. Whenever that happens, you're left with a defect in the cartilage surface that makes you more prone down the road to things like arthritis. While there's other procedures they can do to try to repair or reheal some of that cartilage defect on the bone, if you've got a piece floating around inside the knee joint, then they might need to take it out to prevent the locking and the catching. Now, I looked back and I couldn't find any evidence of a previous injury to Morant's knee or even any time where he missed games because he was having knee pain. So it's hard to really elucidate what might have been going on beforehand in terms of symptoms, in terms of injury, to lead to this type of a loose body. Now, the third type is a fibrous loose body, and these can be thought of more similar to like a scar tissue. There's different conditions where the synovium or part of the lining of the knee joint can become thickened, can become inflamed, and you can get pieces of these thickened, inflamed kind of fibrotic tissue that breaks off and floats around causing a loose body. These are less common and they're typically indicative of a more severe condition underlying all this, like tuberculosis or rheumatoid arthritis, things that are causing lots of systemic inflammation, particularly inside that knee joint. And then of course there's others. You can have little tumors, you can have lipomas, you can have a lot of these one-off things that just occur for kind of unknown reasons that need to be taken out. Either way though, what I want you to take away from this is a loose body is something floating around inside the knee that's not supposed to be there. It can have bone, it can have cartilage, And it's important to try to understand what the cause of why that loose body got there, so that the doctors can manage and treat what else might be going on inside the knee. With Morant, they're kind of selling this as just a one-off. He's going to be back within 4 weeks, no big deal. Well, and while that's certainly possible, it's important for everybody to understand and try to assess what might be going on otherwise in his knee that led to this type of a loose body. If it's just a traumatic one-off thing that happened from twisting the knee or some sort of playing injury, then there still is a possible defect in the cartilage that could cause more issues down the road. Cartilage doesn't grow back, and so if you have a piece or a chip of cartilage that's broken off the surface of your knee joint, it's always going to be gone. It's not going to form back, it's not going to smooth back over. And so if you've missed a chunk of cartilage there, you've affected the biomechanics of your joint and make that joint more susceptible to problems down the road. It will be important to follow nonetheless to see how he does during the upcoming summer league and season, and watch if he's developing knee pain, if he's more prone to other types of injuries that could stem back to something like this loose body episode. That's it though. I hope you guys learned something in this video about loose bodies, what the heck they are, where they can come from, and took away the importance of trying to understand what that loose body's made out of to understand what might have happened to cause it. Thanks as always though for watching, and until next time, we'll see y'all later. Bye.